What's up, Google? That's right. We know what you did. We know what you're up to. Thought you'd send a little discreet email talking about how broad match modified settings were going to go bye-bye. Well, guess what? Carl from my PPC team reads those emails. He reads every email you send us. And now we know. And now we're going to tell everybody. We're going to tell all of our clients. We're going to tell all your clients. And now you're going to be done. I'm just kidding. You're going to be just fine. But we are going to tell people what to do about it starting now. Let's go. So what's up, everybody? As you can see, I'm having a little bit of fun today because when these things happen, you just have to have a little bit of fun. But this is really the culmination of 12 years of Google giving us different setting changes and having to deal with those, figure out what they are. Usually when it happens, they package it up, make it smell really nice, but in the end, it means that they're going to be making more money and you are not. So in this case, I don't think they tried to really cover it up, even though it comes off in a little email that most people are not going to read. And so that's my job, is to make sure that I'm getting in front of you so that you know that these things are happening and you can find out what to do about it. So today we're going to just basically go over what the change means and what it looks like. I'm going to educate you a little bit on what broad match modified and phrase match keywords are so that it all makes sense. Luckily, the way things have gone with Google in the last 4 years, they've really started to emphasize more automated campaigns like smart campaigns and DSA campaigns. And I think this is just another move of them ultimately moving towards more AI. So as that happens, it takes a little bit of control out of the advertiser's hands, and we certainly want to maintain as much control as we can. Not to say that smart campaigns and DSA campaigns are bad. We definitely use a lot of them, but we also need to use keyword campaigns too, and that's what this is about today. So before we get going, please like the video. If you don't mind, if you like the content and you want to see more videos like this, you can subscribe. And if you have questions, you can always leave those down in the comments below. But let's get to it. So this is the email that Carl, the guy that I mentioned earlier, sent me, and I gotta admit it's a little bit sneaky. And the reason why it's sneaky is because it's so vague in terms of what they mean. So Google's saying, starting February 18th, phrase and broad match modifiers will begin to match the same users' searches. And with this update, matching behavior ads may show on searches that include the same or more specific meaning as your keyword. What does that mean? In fact, I asked Carl about it, and he said that broad match modifiers was going to go away, and when he said that, I thought that everything's going to be phrase match. But turns out broad match modifiers are going away. We're going to be left with phrase match, but phrase match is going to act like broad match modifier. Go figure. So let's kind of get into what it all means. In short, broad match modifier is going away, and phrase match keywords will behave like broad match modifiers. So a little lesson, I'll try to make this quick. When you put keywords into campaigns, and I'm not talking about the DSA campaigns or the smart campaigns, I'm talking about good old-fashioned keywords where you just put in keywords or you put brackets or quotes. And in this case, for broad match modifier keywords, you would put a plus sign to ensure that the word or term next to the plus sign is in the query for your ads to show. So phrase match, everything within the phrase traditionally has to be in the query in that order, and there can be keywords before or after. Broad match modified doesn't matter. You can have other keywords in the query as long as the terms that have the plus sign next to them are also in the query. So let's go over just a couple different scenarios. And what they've given us is moving services NYC to Boston. Traditionally, if those were in brackets or all had plus signs as in a broad match modified keyword, they would show up in a phrase match search term. And so that doesn't change. Now, in the second query, NYC corporate moving services to Boston, traditionally, that would fall under a broad match modifier because all of the search terms that are in the query have a plus sign, so the order got mixed up. They were present, so it would qualify as a broad match modified keyword and not a phrase match. But now it's going to be a phrase match and not a broad match modified keyword. And then the last query is modified services Boston to New York. So again, moving services Boston to New York, those were in the broad match modified keyword, and that's where it would have been before. But now, and I think this part is actually pretty cool. It's in reality it does this anyway, but it's going to be giving looking at it through its AI technology, aka BERT, which we covered in an earlier video. BERT is trying to understand what people are actually searching. So I don't think it needs to look at it too hard to know that if someone's trying to move from Boston to New York, they're not trying to go from New York to Boston. So it's not going to show for that query. Good job, Google. But seriously, under the past setup for broad match modified keywords, it would have had to have shown that that ad for that particular query. And so in this case, it's not going to do that. But there are some other problems that show up. So now, before you used to have a very small set of keywords that were phrase match, and now you're actually opening up the door to all those broad match modified keywords are now going to be phrase match, and also they're all the phrase match are going to be able to behave like broad match modified keywords, which means let's just say they're shorter terms. Maybe there's only a couple keywords in there, and those are broad match modified. Turn phrase, acting like broad match modified keywords. It's going to get a lot more traffic. And what's going to happen is that phrase match keyword is going to get a lot more competitive, and the cost per clicks, we presume, are going to go up. And so because you're now allowed to get more volume, because the match setting is less strict for the phrase match, you really have to watch out and make sure that the cost is not getting away from you. So I don't expect campaigns to go haywire, but over time, you could waste some money. So you want to make sure that you're looking at it. So the first thing I would have you do is, just keep an eye on your campaigns for spend increases. If and I'm not talking about DSA or smart campaigns, I'm just talking about good old search campaigns with keywords. If you see any keywords or all of a sudden it just starts to increase ad spend, take a look at your search queries and just see if everything looks good. If, let's say, search queries are coming in and you used to have it all neat and tidy because you used to have phrase match, don't worry. Now, you're going to have to do a little housekeeping, put in some negative keywords, and if you have to use negative exact match keywords to really control it, just get used to, mark your calendar, just get used to going in there every week or two and making sure that you're adding them until it gets controlled. Now, I think that's going to work for most people. Sometimes it's not going to work that easily. So what I would suggest for those people that, it's just a constant battle with the search queries coming in that are just not as targeted, and let's just say ROAS is going down and your cost per conversions are going up, and you don't like the way it's going, you can turn off those keywords. You can actually just rely on other match types like exact match, and see if that really gets you to the place where you want to go. And if that fails, what I see a lot of advertisers planning to do is just shift more of the ad spend over to DSA and smart campaigns. Again, if you do that, you're pretty much giving Google more control over what happens there. And so, if you set your target ROAS or your target bench metrics for those campaigns, it should technically do in time what you want it to do. But again, I always feel that you're leaving money on the table. So as long as you can run those manual campaigns and get a good return, keep trying to do it. Hopefully this change won't be a big deal, but definitely keep an eye on it because we want to make sure that you make every dollar that you make. But you don't need to give it to them, right? So in closing, we'll put the resources to everything that we looked up down below in the description. It's here if you want to look it up. Google support URLs. Other than that, a shorter video this week. Just want to say thank you for watching it, and I hope that you got a lot out of this video. If you have any questions, please put those down in the comments. If you have any ideas for videos that you'd like us to make, or if you have questions about anything in your advertising, please leave those in the comments or contact us. I'd be happy to give you a run through or ask somebody at my company, Conversion Giant, if they know what it is you're looking to know. So I've had too much coffee today. I'm going to go. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you like this kind of content and want to see more of it. Really appreciate you guys. We'll see you soon. Have a good day.